All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we are interviewing AR-14 Jerry Wayne. Who's AR-14 Jerry Wayne? Well, Jerry Wayne is an American union worker who presidential candidate Joe Biden said was full of... Joe Biden also asked Jerry if he wanted to step outside when Jerry pressed Joe Biden to his face on why he, Joe Biden, wants to take away our Second Amendment rights to bear arms. Folks, I'm telling you, if you love your guns, you love your liberty, and you love this country, then you will not want to miss today's show, our interview with AR-14 Jerry Wayne, right here on the Thrive Time Show, under radio and podcast download.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, and yes! Folks, I cannot complain. On today's show, we are rejoined with our main man, Jerry Wayne, for part 2 of our interview series with the man, the myth, and the legend, Jerry Wayne. But before we get into the interview, I want to cue up the audio one more time so you can hear what presidential candidate Joe Biden said to Jerry Wayne, to his face. Again, Joe Biden's trying to win over votes, so he shows up at a union shop, at a union skilled shop where there's union workers, and he's trying to win over the workers, trying to convince them that they should vote for him for president. Joe Biden's trying to win over votes, and so Jerry Wayne recognized that hey, this would probably be a good time, a good opportunity to ask Joe Biden directly a question about his stance on gun control, because Joe Biden had said recently on Anderson Cooper that he would be taking away your AR-15 assault rifles if he was elected president. And so Jerry Wayne thought, hey, listen, I want to ask you directly to your face your thoughts on gun control. And so this is what happened. Let me cue up the audio. Here we go.
To explain how you plan to not only keep us working, about how you intend on getting the union vote when there is a large portion of the union workers that are gun enthusiasts, and you are actively trying to diminish our Second Amendment right and take away our guns.
You're full of
All right, thank you.
No, shush. Shush. I support the Second Amendment. Second Amendment, just like right now, if you yell fire, that's not free speech. And from the very beginning, I have a shotgun, I have a 20 gauge, a 12 gauge, my sons hunt. Guess what? You're not allowed to own any weapon. I'm not taking your gun away at all. You need 100 rounds.
So when you were in Beto, when you said you're going to take our guns, that
I
means
did
what?
not say that. That's not true. I did not say that.
It's a viral video.
It's a viral video like the other ones they're putting out there. It's simply a lie.
Your voice, you said that you're taking the guns.
Well, he just clarified it.
Wait. Take your AR-14s away.
Okay, this is not okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Hey, let's
Don't tell me anything, pal. I'm going to go outside.
There's a lot of guys.
You're
want
working for me, man.
I'm not worried.
Hold on. So much.
Give me a break, man. Don't be
You're
such a worried
pushing
guy.
up on me.
Hey, there's a lot of
Hey.
Speak to Joe.
Look, here's the deal.
Go ahead, go
Here's the deal. Are you able to own a machine gun?
ahead.
I said, are you able to own one? Under law.
Machine guns are illegal.
That's right. So AR-15's illegal.
How is that in a machine gun?
So let me just get this idea. You work in a union. What union do you work in?
I'm a skilled tradesman. I'm a millwright out of 1102 Detroit.
Okay, and so you're saying under President Trump that the jobs you've stayed busy. You as a union worker have stayed. Are you busier now under the Trump presidency or less busy?
Compared to the Obama administration?
Yeah.
Yeah, significantly more busy. Yes, and as well as we're not taking pay cuts. During the Obama administration, we had to take pay cuts.
And what kind of stuff do you guys do? What kind of jobs do you do? What kind of skills do you have in your union shop?
My union is we're a jack of all trades, expert at precision. We're a rotating equipment specialist. So I work on anything between robots, conveyors, to nuclear reactors.
And I just want to make sure, because the media likes to take interviews like this, and they like to cut it into little segments. So I'm just going to ask you again, because people take stuff out of context. You walked up to Joe Biden because you knew he was coming by your factory to talk to the union workers. And your first question you asked him was what?
First question was,
how do you plan on keeping the union workers working?
And what did he say to you?
He did not mention anything to do with that question whatsoever.
So
So I figured that's not, and I'm not trying to out him. I'm simply trying to give him an opportunity to answer a
Right.
question from a concerned citizen on how he's actually going to help us out. We're doing great right now. There's always room for improvement. I wanted to give him the opportunity to answer that, but I've got nothing so far.
Okay, but you did ask, and were you running for office at the time you asked the question?
Was I running for office?
Yeah, were you running for office?
No.
Were
No,
you being paid by the right wing to ask this question?
No.
Are you you're a father, right? You're a husband. You're a father. You have any kids?
Nope. I have a beautiful girlfriend and a fur baby and a chocolate lab. That's
Okay,
about
so
it.
you got a girlfriend. You don't have a big agenda. Or were you working for Fox News? Were you working for Newsmax? Was anybody paying you to ask these questions?
No, nobody's paying me. Nobody's leading me. Absolutely nothing.
Okay. So
No,
you go in
just
there
a
with no
concern.
agenda. You just want to know. And then you asked the crazy question, the second question. What was the second question that you asked that created such a viral media storm? What was that question?
Well, the question was, how he plans on taking away our guns when a lot of us are gun enthusiasts, and he wants to get the union and the union vote at the same time when a lot of us are gun enthusiasts. So how do you want to take that demographic and split it into two? And then as we started to coral along that way, I ended up asking him towards the end of that dialogue was, why are you advocating for assault weapons, quotations in the air, in case this is audio, assault weapons when people are dying more by handguns? So now, mind you, I don't think that we should be taking any weapons off the streets right now, unless they're obviously illegal. But, you're advocating for something that's not even the main cause of gun deaths in America.
Now, he has been on, again, I want to make sure people know this. Anderson Cooper on CNN interviewed Joe Biden. And during that interview on CNN, Joe Biden said he's going to be taking away your assault rifles. He's going to take them away. But then to you, when you asked him why you asked him, how are you going to get the union vote while taking away our guns? What was his response? What did he say to you?
About the union vote, he didn't respond at all with that. He kind of just skipped right over it, went to the gun situation, and kind of stumbled over his words a little bit about the gun situation. That's what he wanted to talk about. And if you don't mind if I speak about that, I believe he's only wanting to speak about the advocating for the gun control is because he's trying to grab a demographic. And there's a lot of people out there who said, hey, don't worry about your guns. It's going to be just fine. Be that as it may. But when you start talking like that and you want to tell the American people that you want to take our Second Amendment rights away, there's an underlying issue there, even though if you're just doing it to grab a demographic. You're playing with fire when you say that.
He said to you, and again, I'm going to put the audio clip on the show, but I believe he told you that he didn't say that he wanted to take away your guns. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so. He said he didn't say that. And then even in audio, he says that he still is going to.
Okay, and then so at what point did he curse at you?
That's the first thing he said. That's first-hand advice. He said, you're full of what.
Okay.
That's the first words he's ever said to me.
He says, you're full of boop. That's what he said. The first words out of his mouth to you.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
And then he, in the video I watched it, he offers you an opportunity to go outside. He says, you want to step up? Tell me about that. This is a guy in his 70s asking you if you want to go outside. What was that all about?
I got to be honest with you. When it happened and he said that, I kind of went right under my radar because I saw that I still had a responsibility to actually make it to where he needs to answer this question.
Yeah.
I wanted to push the motive that it was important that he answer this to the American people and actually our concerns.
Right.
And that I really didn't notice that was said until afterwards. But I actually spoke about that on my NRA video. I asked him, why you want to go outside? To go out and smell all the freedom, because that's why I want to go outside. And we might as well go out there and smell it now while we still have it, because there's a chance in this election we could be losing freedoms.
Not a lot of people have been attacked by a presidential candidate. Not a lot of people. The first thing he says to you is a curse. He says he curses at you in his first sentence. Then he asks you if you want to go outside. It's just unbelievable. Okay, so tell me, the union guys that work with you, are they big fans of Joe Biden? What's the talk on the? I'm not a union guy. I don't work in a shop like you guys do. What are you hearing?
Yeah, so if you don't mind, I have a little bit of backstory to this.
Sure, yeah.
With me actually answering this question. And everybody's like very pro Democrat in the union sense, at least until recently. And so when I went to go ask this question, the guys that were amongst me, around me, they were not very happy with the questions that I was asking, but because they couldn't hear my questions, and they saw me rustle some feathers, and they automatically took Joe Biden's side. Well, now that the video has come out and I understood the questions of which I was asking, I've had a plethora of people of responses of great magnitude of people supporting me in the unions as well. And I go back to work now because the COVID kind of shut us down for a little bit. And it's almost like I'm a celebrity now. And I'd say at least 80% of the demographic there are definitely maybe not pro-Trump or anti-Biden, but we're just pro-freedom. You know, we were Americans before we were in the union. And now they're wanting to split us up to choose between our union and our American, our American rights. And we are definitely going to choose our rights over our union for sure.
Now, OSHA, on the OSHA website, I'm reading to you, it states, the rulemaking record for the respiratory protection standard clearly justifies adopting the requirement that air breathed by employees, and that includes you guys, union employees, must have an oxygen content of at least 19.5%. A lesser concentration of oxygen in employees breathing air, that includes you, could endanger them, that means you, physiologically and diminish their ability, that's your ability, to cope with other hazards that may be present in the workplace. So we interviewed Oklahoma's top virology expert, and he said that an employee was forced to wear a mandated mask, and they fell off a ladder and literally have damaged themselves to a place where they're probably never going to recover. I understand that you guys are finding it difficult to work while wearing a mask. Tell us about that. Tell us about what's going on. Give us some feedback of what's happening as it relates to the mask mandates inside the union shop.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that you brought that up. Nobody has brought that up yet. And that's actually an inside look of what we're actually doing now. Yes, masks, to wear them inside of the shop is extremely dangerous. And I got to tell you that right now, I'd say near 100% of people, even if they're left or right, they don't want to wear them. We just recently had a stand-up where I'm not going to speak of where this happened at because I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus here, but a lot of different companies just recently stood up and walked out of the shop because they're tired of these restrictions. They're making people wear safety glasses, their hard hats, and the mask while they're eating lunch, and that's just not fun either. But the thing is that when we do a lot of heavy equipment operations. And so if you have one guy on the ground and one guy up in a lift trying to tell an operator, so somebody in a crane, of how to move this big piece of steel, you can't hear them. And if you don't say stop or go in a certain amount of time and the operator doesn't hear you, you can lose a limb. And it's very, very dangerous. And these are aspects in the world of construction that a lot of people don't see. Not to mention, heat rises up rapidly as you go up in the air. And we're 30, 40, 50 feet in the air sometimes. And the heat's very hot up there. And then you can't even see in your glasses. So because the fog is shooting up in your glasses, you can't see. There's a lot of factors that are happening right now that these politicians don't see. And the reason why these politicians don't see it is because they're not average everyday Americans. They don't actually get to experience what we're experiencing. And that's why we have to give American citizens a voice over all these lifelong politicians.
If you go to my Twitter feed today, if you search on Twitter for the Clay Clark on Twitter, all I've tried to do is aggregate the truth out there so people can find it. But one thing that's really disturbing and very true is the CDC just came out and stated that of those who died from COVID-19, only 6% actually died from COVID-19, which means your chances of actually dying from COVID-19 dropped from 0.04% to 0.00024%. Thus meaning that this is crazy, that only less than 10,000 Americans, 9,120 people have died from COVID-19. So I want to make sure we're getting this idea. If we go today to the hospital, they're going to make us take a PCR test if we're going to have a surgery or something. You take a PCR test, and the vast majority of people that take that PCR test will show they do have coronaviruses in their system, which counts as a positive test result. So long story short, the CDC is saying, listen, only 6% of people, though, actually died as a result of the cause of COVID-19. But you need to wear a mask that's going to put you at risk at your workplace to protect yourself from a virus with a 0.00024% fatality rate. It's just crazy stuff, and I appreciate you standing up for this stuff. So I want to give you the mic to share. What do you want our listeners to do right now? Because most of our listeners love the First Amendment. They love our right to peaceably gather. They love our Second Amendment right to bear arms. Our listeners love freedom. What can we do to support you? What can we do? Tell us what to do.
There's quite a few things then. First of all, if you guys want to support me and follow me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as Jerry Wayne AR-14. And we're definitely moving this forward to stand together. Now, as far as I know, there's a lot of people in America that don't like unions, and then be that as it may. But let me tell you right now that a lot of unions union representatives are misrepresenting who we actually are and what we stand for. The things that we have in America, things like minimum wage and getting the weekends off and overtime and Labor Day and getting Christmas off, all that stuff came from unions. And unions aside, what it takes is it's individuals uniting together to stand for something all at once. So, like, even these union guys throughout America, they don't want to be out there wearing these masks right now. Why are we not uniting and telling these big companies, we're not going to work for you until you get rid of these rules? And then you put them in as the middleman here between the politicians and the American people. Yep. Let them choose, because when it comes down to it, we have the party, we have the control of what's happening in America. Yep. Because they need to be able to sell their goods, and we're the ones standing in that way.
I absolutely could not agree with anybody more. I appreciate you having the courage to talk about these things. So I thought, what better way to say thank you than to bring an attorney on the show? So we have one of my good friends here, James. He's an attorney. He's an entrepreneur. James, I'll let you introduce your first and last name and tell us your website, and then you can interrogate our incredible AR-14 friend here.
Hi, Jerry. Nice to meet you. My name is James DiCristofaro. Website is thelawyer.james.com, thelawyer.james.com. And, first of all, I wanted to thank you for standing up, for having a conversation, and then continuing it out and doing this interview and other interviews as I understand it.
Yep.
My question for you is, I've never had the pleasure of being, in that type of proximity to a presidential candidate that I wanted to be next to, nor have I had the displeasure like you have of standing that close to somebody that I didn't want to stand next to in the context of a presidential candidate. Let me ask you, did you smell any booze like emanating from his body, or did he try to slip you a pill? I mean, what is this guy on? Is out of his mind?
No, I didn't smell anything out of the norm at all. No, I definitely, it's weird being in front of somebody like that, because you think that these people have been unplugged from society for so long. Now, I'm not going to speak on anything like dementia or anything like that. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and I didn't know this man 20 years ago. I didn't know this man a year ago. I don't know. So I expect everybody in the nation to use their own intellect to figure that out. But I tell you what I was always taught from a young man is when you speak to another man, you look at him in his eyes. And that's what I did that day, as I looked at him in his eyes. And I don't think I liked what I saw. I didn't see any compassion, nothing of heartfelt sense. There's a motive there, and as somebody that is determined to get to a certain place. There was no room for reasoning. And that's something that made me want to stand up even more for the American people, because I don't see someone that is plugged in with society as a whole. There's someone there that's plugged in for power.
I need to. You need to encourage me here, because I am not in the union workplace, and so you know a lot more than I do. You have the facts. You're talking to the guys, and I'm not asking for anything that's confidential, but I just have to know. I keep hearing from people who are telling me, Clay, the economy's so much better in my workplace since President Trump took over. My industry's booming. Things are going great. Before this COVID thing, things were going great. But yet I know certain people always vote Democrat because they just have a certain momentum that way. They always have voted Democrat, so they always vote Democrat. Do you think the union is going to vote for Trump?
The union's going to. This is how it works. It's that our representatives don't reach out to us and say, "Hey guys, let's put a vote in, and who are we going to endorse here?" We're told who to endorse. We get flyers sent out to our homes. We get phone calls and say, "Hey, we're endorsing this person." Well, yeah. I didn't get a poll ran on me from my union to tell me who we should vote for. They're not asking my opinion. Yeah. So that's what they're out there with these loudspeakers speaking out of what we're going to do, and that's not the voice of the regular union, the American union worker. And I can tell you right now that there is a lot more people that stand up for freedom than they do for the Democratic Party. And then I think that we're witnessing a technological revolution as well as a political revolution as well. So what we're using is a lot of Americans are now using these technological devices like your phone and tablet to dissect these politicians underneath a microscope to figure out exactly what their agendas are, what they did in the past, and what they plan to do in the future. So we can actually now, sorry for that noise.
No problem.
So actually now see who we're voting for at an individual level and not be told what we have to do. So that's us now taking control of our unions now as well.
Do you think more people this election, because 2016 president, I just want to give some real statistics for people out there. In 2016, when President Trump won, he received 8% of the black vote, okay? When President Obama won, when he became the president of the United States, he received 99% of the black vote. Well, Dan Bongino, who's a prominent podcast host, personality, former Secret Service member, he's showing statistics now that are showing, almost 20% of black voters are voting for Trump. Some are showing 25%. All I'm saying is voting blocks that have always voted Democrat are now really being more objective. Do you feel like more union guys are going to vote for Trump this time around?
Yeah, either Trump or Kanye. We'll leave it at that. How's that? There's not a lot of people that are just so pro-Trump. It's just that they're anti.
I get it.
Joe Biden because they're pro-freedom. And you know what? Yeah, I think these union workers, they work 5, 6, 7 days a week, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. They don't have a lot of time to educate themselves on this political world. So what they do is they hear different people's ideologies on who people are. So you listen to the mainstream media and it's going to paint Joe Biden in a beautiful picture. But then you hear all these big these actors and athletes and stuff, and they say negative things about Donald Trump. So what that happens is that us as human beings, we become what we surround ourselves with. That's how we work. And when you surround yourself with these different things being said into your mind, you're going to end up painting that as your own private opinion on something. So, yeah, all this stuff happening, who knows where it's actually going to go? But I know a lot of people that are just in the union. They stand for freedom over anything. Why do you think Donald Trump won the last election? It's not because everybody loved Donald Trump and he was our savior and all that stuff.
Yep.
We wanted Donald Trump in there because the man wasn't a politician. All of America felt like that we were out of control. We couldn't do anything, and this is our last-ditch effort to get the country back. And so that's why Donald Trump was voted in, is because we want to change.
Now, James, we have time for one more tough question here. And again, before you ask your tough question, though, you're now being known. I mean, you're starting to get real national attention for the nickname AR-14 Jerry Wayne. Jerry, can you please educate the listeners out there that aren't aware, what is an AR-15 and what is an AR-14?
Okay, an AR-15 is a semi-automatic rifle, or also known as a sport rifle.
Got it.
And we use these rifles for accurate shooting, as well as sport shooting for competitions and such, as well as home defense. But last but not least, this rifle is the best rifle that is also affordable for the American populace to defend our country from a tyrannical government. Now, the AR-14 is not real.
Oh,
so it's not actually there was a model drawn up a very long time ago with some type of AR-14, but never really came into fruition. But yeah, the AR-14 doesn't really exist. Neither do 100-round magazine clips. So there's a lot of things that are out there that are said that are to be true that are not. It's also not an automatic rifle. Semi-automatic, automatic are very different. Before you wrap this up or anything,
sure.
I have a question myself for your attorney back there.
Yeah.
Okay, so excuse me. I live in Michigan. We have mass mandates throughout the country that we have to go into when we go into a bank, or if I have to go into work or things like that, right? 2 questions. This is a double-sided question. 1, why are we being forced to purchase masks for an executive order mandation when we have to pay taxes on these things as well? We're being forced to pay extra taxes out of our pocket. It is government. The government is mandating it, forcing us to purchase things, which is forcing us to pay taxes. Is that not tyrannical?
Okay, question number 1. What do you got, James?
That's an amazing question, amazing thought. The whole thing is crap. It's unconstitutional. It's garbage. There's no basis for it. We've got 9,000 and change deaths. It's complete crap, unconstitutional, and that just piles crap upon more crap.
And by the way, Jerry, if you want to, or any of your friends want to file a lawsuit against these mask mandates, we've actually filed a lawsuit in Tulsa, Oklahoma against our mayor. And I want all the listeners to know this. We've already spent thousands of dollars and invested thousands of man hours gathering up doctors, white papers, case studies. So if anybody listening to this right now, you included, if you want to file a lawsuit, it literally would take you less than an hour. We have everything already done for you. So it's almost like fill in the blank at this point. and less than about $1,000 filing fee, it's done. I mean, so that's something that if anybody's listening wants to do, we're trying to help people, and we're getting a big momentum. People are reaching out to us saying, can you help us file? And so we can help anybody with that.
Yeah, we're getting calls from all over the country, and we can just get a group of people together, put you on a subscription, whatever, take care of it, and we'll bang it out. We'll bang them out in all sorts of different
Sorry to cut you off, Jerry, but yeah, we can help you.
All right. Well, I'll contact my manager. We'll figure something out with that too, because we definitely. I'm starting a movement as well. At least I'm trying to. I made a ripple in the water right now, but there's a tsunami behind me. There's a lot of people that are pushing for this.
True.
So the second part of that question is, now if I go into a bank and they ask me, they say I have to wear a mask once I go in there. Didn't we just bail these banks out with the taxpayers' money? So where's capitalism at? The free market is dying now because we are sitting here and bailing out companies that are now dictating what we can and cannot do as American citizens. So does that not stand in the way of the free market there?
Of course it does, and it's all part of the same infection that we're talking about that we need to snuff out with this massive effort that Clay was talking about. We've got some momentum. Let's continue the momentum. Let's get your manager on board. Whoever's in this tsunami that's following it, let's get them on board.
Real quick here, folks, I want to make sure we get this. One, Jerry, if people want to learn more about you, what's your website?
My website is jerrywaynear14.com. It is still under construction. It's very raw, but I do have people working on that as we speak. So bear with me, guys. I'm doing my absolute best. Again, social media is Jerry Wayne AR-14 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I look forward to having you guys on there to help me with this movement.
Yeah, and if you're out there listening today and you want to file a lawsuit, I want to make sure we're getting this. I don't make a commission if you support Jerry. I don't make a commission if you file a lawsuit. I'm a father of 5. We're all on this show because we care about America. We love our country. But it said, Thomas Edison specifically said, he said that vision without execution is hallucination. Vision without execution is hallucination. We got to stop hallucinating. So either support Jerry Wayne, stop complaining, and start donating to Jerry Wayne. He's going to fight the fight for you. Or file a lawsuit. Reach out to us, info@thrivetimeshow.com. Sue them. Sue me. Sue everybody. We got to sue. It's a tsunami of suing. We've got to file those lawsuits. Email us right now, info@thrivetimeshow. We can help you do that. James, we have time for one more 60-second question.
Okay, so, Jerry, and apologies for cutting you off earlier. I had to get that out. Now, what do you think about all this hypocrisy, all of the cognitive dissonance from leaders like Pelosi and Cuomo shutting everything down, requiring the mask mandate?
Oh yeah.
And then, for instance, I'm thinking of two instances specifically. The first is in California, all hair salons are shut down.
Yep.
And in New York, you have to wear a mask. So in California, all hair salons are shut down.
And you have to wear a mask.
Yet Nancy Pelosi goes into the hair salon inside and doesn't wear a mask and gets her services done. And Cuomo's walking his dog
without
outside,
a mask.
not wearing a mask.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think that they're just I think there are a lot of puppets that are happening here. Now, mind you, I cannot prove that at all. There's nothing that I can say that actually says that for certain. But what I see is a power grab. And, people that have been involved in politics for so long, they want to stay in that power. If not, think about it. If I were to run for office personally, I don't think I'd really campaign. If the American people want me to be a politician, you need to lift me up.
Why don't you invite people to write you in as a ballot?
You guys work to get me there.
Write you in on the ballot.
What's that? Yeah, write me in. Sure, that's fine. But if the American people want me to do that, then I'll do it. But I'm not going to go ahead and beat my head up against the wall to try to get votes and all that stuff. If you guys want me to get votes, you work for me to get votes. But what we're seeing here is people saying one thing and then they're doing the next, like Nancy Pelosi going to the hair salon.
Right.
If you're going to lead by example. But I don't see any leadership here because if you were to lead, you would be at least an economist or economic. I'm missing my words up here. Okay. But you'd care about the economy and actually happening there, what the ramifications are of shutting down such an economy. And what it's doing is it is crippling the United States as a whole. And we were doing really well before this whole thing happened. And now that we see the CDC come out here and have lower death rates, we need to actually take that into consideration on how quickly we can open up this economy.
Okay, Jerry Wayne, I hate to do this to you, but I have facts to support what you just said. You said, I think these people are puppets. Well, okay, I'm going to give you some facts here. Bill de Blasio, okay? Bill de Blasio. He's the mayor of New York. A lot of people don't know this. Did you know that his name is not Bill de Blasio? His original birth name was Warren Wilhelm Jr., and he actually was a member of the Socialist Revolution in Nicaragua. He actually was leading the Sandistas in Nicaragua, and his name is William Wilhelm Jr. He switched his name to Bill de Blasio, and he's funded by George Soros, the guy funding the organization Black Lives Matter. So the guy who hijacked the phrase and the sentiment Black Lives Matter, that George Soros, the same George Soros who's on 60 Minutes talking about being a Nazi, that George Soros. So again, I mean, these people are puppets. These people are put in office. AOC was a bartender. Now she's supported by George Soros. Now she's in office. I'm telling you, you are right, sir. You are correct. And if all of our listeners go to timetofreeamerica.com, timetofreeamerica.com, we have a button called Follow the Money. And if you click on the Follow the Money button, you can follow all the money because what you said is true. AR-14, Jerry Wayne, I appreciate you for being on the show. You're a great American, and that beard is terrific. Wow.
Oh, sir, appreciate it.
All right, man, you take care. And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom! Stop what you're doing and think about this for a second. What would happen if your company was suddenly able to generate exponentially more quality sales leads? That would be incredible. What would happen if your company came up at the top or near the top of the Google search engine results? Well, I would just feel overwhelmed with all that business. How many thousands of dollars in lost sales or millions of dollars in lost sales are you missing out on simply because your potential customers can't find you when they go online to search for the products and services that you offer? I refuse to think that thought because I don't want any more business. Unless you are a dirty communist that hates money, my new book, Search Engine Domination, will help you grow your business. In my new book, Search Engine Domination, we will teach you the specific steps that you need to take to dominate the search engine results. What do you mean by dominate? You see, in my new book, Search Engine Domination, we will teach you the specific steps that you need to take to dominate search engine results. Download your free ebook copy today at thebestseobook.com. I repeat, that's thebestseobook.com.
My name is Amy Baltimore, and I am a CPA in Covington, Tennessee. I've been working with the Thrive team now for about a year. One of the first things that they did was to update my website and my search engine optimization. I prior had a website, but I was not being found on Google, and all of my new business was coming through referrals from friends, family, etc. And right away, I started to see results. People were calling and coming in saying that they found me on Google. They just Googled CPA near me, and there I was at the top of the page. And so it's been a great help to my business.
Again, you can download your free ebook copy today at thebestseobook.com.
Hey, this is Dustin Huff. I'm with Keystone Harbor Marina. We joined Thrive back in January and have been working with these guys for about 7 months. During that time period, we have moved up our Google rank through reviews and SEO processes that we've compiled through these guys. Our leads have gone from about 4 a week to now 165 a week. So the process works. I will tell you from experience, once you begin, you have to stay with it. As long as you continually do this week in and week out, month in and month out, you'll continually grow.
The system works, but nothing works unless you do. You've got to take some action. Download the ebook for free today at thebestseobook.com.
Hello, my name is Daniel with Daniel's Heating and Air here in Amarillo, Texas. The way Google has affected my business, we have got a lot of calls from Google. Right now it's July, and we've had the best month ever. And it took us about 8 to 10 months to get on top of Google, and I'm glad we did.
Remember, nothing works unless you do. You have to go to thebestseobook.com today. Download the ebook for free. Just download that ebook for free, and you'll be off to the races.
Hi, my name is Christina Nemus. I'm the owner and operator of Angel's Touch Auto Body and Detailing in Bourne, Massachusetts. We have been working with Thrive and their coaching for, say, 8 to 9 months, and it took us about 6 months, 5 to 6 months to get on the top of Google, and with their help with the website and marketing, and the SEO and retargeting ads with Google, and it has been phenomenal. We just have light and day business coming in, phone calls coming in, walk-ins, referrals. It's just through the roof, and we couldn't be happier. At the moment, we are up 50% this year from the previous year, and not only is that part of our own hard work and diligence, but also with the help of Thrive and what they've done for us and getting us on the top of Google and, you know, all their knowledge and coaching. And yeah, so super grateful, super pumped to see what the future holds for all of us. Thank you.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 10:4. I'm here to tell you, you can do it if you can just motivate yourself. 12 the masses had to cut off a few, so on the day you and I could rendezvous. A misshapen tree that I had to prune. I had to make cuts to be here daily at noon. So like a tidal wave, a knowledge monsoon, I could rain on the parades of those who doubt in you. Are you the next Rockefeller or the next guru, or the next Dr. King who's changing the rules? Walls are in your way, will you run right through? Like a running back, force the one, it's up to you. I remember my days back in the dorm room, tuned to the gloom like the temple of doom, overwhelmed with the doubts that try to consume my hope for the future that I could pursue. But from the mountaintop now I can conclude that you have what it takes if you want the view to.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time. It's your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
This moment is profound, cause you're above the ground. Your road might have been rough, but what you got now is now. We're here to pick you up and to even show you how, but you gotta be resourceful with that old plow. Started from the bottom, but I worked my way up, cause by 4 a.m. I've always been prayed up. Rise and grind, now's your time, don't dare lay up. You gotta get it, don't quit it till your seeds grow up.
This is your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find.
Yes.
Today is your day.
Somebody say,
and now is your time.
it's your time.
It's your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
It's your time. We all have a wish and we all want to win, but we cannot begin without self-discipline. If you fall on your face, get yourself up again. Attach yourself to goals, not fail with the friends. When the storm's getting rough and they scatter and leave, you only be there with yourself and what you believe. We believe in you, but not as much as God does. If you're going through hell, He's got nothing but love. Apply what you learn, increase what you earn, and in due time you have money to burn.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you've earned, and in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you've earned, in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned,
Sing it.
increase what you've earned.
Yes.
In due time you got money to
With
to
this biblical
burn.
miracle, I look to shout down the doubters, kill the weeds that be killing your dream flowers, empower you to devour all the obstacles that make your sweet dreams sour. As for me, I used to stutter, but now I'm on the microphone smooth like butter. If I can do it, I know you can too, but you must stick to it like postage do. And while Merton's on the chorus, singing what he sings, I encourage you to dream big dreams.
Today is your day.
Today's your day,
and now is your time.
It's your time.
This is your year to thrive.
Sing it.
Success you will find. Today is your day.
It's your day,
and now is your time.
it's your time.
Today is your day.
Come on.
And now is your time.
Sing it, Martin.
Today is your day. Now is your time.
I realize I can't sing like that, but I can talk and play the woodblock. Okay. If you guys need me, I'll just be over here.